The father of Special Forces, Aaron Bank, mentored Roger. Roger then mentored Special Forces legend Bob Howard, who in turn mentored me.
You know, I used to talk to Aaron Bank before I went out to spend time with the troops, and any last word, just stick to the truth, Roger. Have them to stick to the truth, personal life and professional life. And it boils down to that. He says, everybody sticks to the truth, does what's right. There'd be less fog. He says, there's enough fog in war, you don't have to create it. After his 100th birthday, Norma and I were visiting, he and Catherine. There's a group of us standing around talking. He's got his walker. Catherine says, Roger, maybe you and Aaron would like to go back down to his room. It's time for his PT. He's talking about a 100-year-old guy with his walker.
Doing physical training.
So we walk down to his room, we get in there. In the middle of his room, he's got an exercise bike. He scoots over next to the bike and puts his skinny butt up on it. You count, Raj. And he starts pumping that bike. Man, he was going for 101. I came home from that trip, I started a new PT program. It's just, the old man shamed me into it.
I think that is a perfect transition because I want to talk about Bob Howard.
There's an Iron Man.
Bingo. You were talking about Aaron Banks doing PT at 100, and I would get emails from Bob Howard at 5:30 in the morning, and if I did not respond promptly, he would be like, lady, are you up exercising your talents? And if I didn't reply and hit send promptly, because he wanted me to be out there ruck marching, because he was still out there ruck marching and carrying his own weight. So talk to me a little bit about Bob Howard, because you mentored him too.
Yeah, I knew Bob from his early days. He's probably one of the finest field soldiers that we ever had, but it was more to Bob than that. He had a humble upbringing. He became a soldier and a soldier's soldier. He was tougher than the nails. In combat, he's not only recommended once, but 3 times for the Medal of Honor, many other awards. But he was fearless, and he lived by the guidance of, I'll never ask any man to do anything I won't do myself. And he didn't have to tell you that. By his actions, he would always be doing things. And people would say, that son of a gun, he ran 20 miles with a 40-pound rock. And he would always set the standard and then raise the bar. He did it in every way. The monkey on his back was that he was subject to overindulging, as many of us were, in booze, and it became a real problem. It interfered with some of his goals in life, but in the long run, he overcame. He took that monkey, and it was a tough one. And before he left this world, he became an advocate and major counselor and a major influencer in the VA system for other soldiers who were suffering from alcoholism. And he'd sit down to them and he'd look them straight in the eye and he says, now listen, I've been there and you can get out. Come join me. He showed courage on every battlefield of his life.
Well, you mentored him as well when he needed some tough talking to.
Yeah, I was closest to him when he was here at the Staff College. He came as a student. He had a pet dog. He loved the dog. In fact, we talked about his physical prowess. He used to make his dog run with him, but the poor dog, he ran the dog to death one morning.
Literally.
Came in my office. He died, and I said, I thought he was going to tell me about one of his old teammates. And he had a long dog face expression on his face. Best friend I ever had. I was waiting to hear a story about an old sergeant. And then he mentioned his dog's name. I said, where's your dog? He died on the run with me this morning.
Seriously?
Yes.
He ran the dog to death.
He was genuinely saddened. I thought I was going to have to bring the Kleenex out. But yeah, Bob, that year, we used to have gatherings by branch, infantry, armor, artillery, whatever it might be. And then within the branches, we'd always be looking to who's the best and brightest amongst. And I mentioned to Bob that I says, somewhere this year they're going to identify the guy who has the highest academic grades by branch. And that's all I said to him. Following my guidance, stay busy to keep out of trouble. He undertook another master's degree while he was here. So by the end of the year, he completed the course, plus 2 master's degrees, plus being recognized as the toughest and smartest infantryman around. So he's always setting the example and inspiring people by his example.
But you also inspired him. He looked up to you.
Well, I was on his case all the time. I don't know if he looked up to him because I played the devil advocate of Bob a lot. But we always had fun. When we got too serious, we'd have a drink together. That was kind of counterproductive at times, but it was better than going to blows. Because if we went to blows, he would have won. He would have whipped my ass.
As Medal of Honor recipients and Special Forces soldiers, you've mentored each other, but why do you think that Bob Howard decided to mentor me? I mean, he usually mentors Special Forces soldiers and men and Rangers, and here comes this pain-in-the-butt reporter who he ends up treating like a son.
Yeah, well, I think Bob he had vision. He says, you know, if we're going to get our story out right, we better make sure we got reporters that we can trust. And the stars just lined up for him and for you, that you came in his sight, and he felt he had gained your trust and vice versa. And so that's how I evaluate the mentorship that started and lasted his lifetime with the 2 of you. And I observed it, and I watched him give you polite and then some more direct guidance at times.
Oh, that's a nice way of putting it.
Some people might say not so polite, but it was more direct. But straight from the heart and straight from the shoulders. And then I'd watch you blossom as a reporter. And he and all of us took great pride when we saw the day come that you were recognized by the Medal of Honor Foundation and Society to earn our highest recognition for journalism. But you earned it, and part of that was the trust, and I think personally, was the trust that was built between a soldier and a journalist.
The warrior and the war reporter.
Yeah.
I miss him.
Yeah.
Not too many people take the time to just mentor others.
Well, everybody has that responsibility in life. But before you can become a mentor and you become a leader, a proven leader, then you're able to look in the rearview mirror and say, hey, I see some leadership qualities in somebody else, and you reach out and mentor them. I encourage young people to find people, if they see qualities in an old person, no matter what walk of life they may be in, they want to emulate, reach out to them and say, would you consider giving me some guidance in this aspect of life? Be the proactive. And I've encouraged people to do that, and I still do that.
That's how we learn.
Don't wait to be asked. Be proactive.
Roger has proactively mentored all of us by sharing his stories and lessons. From his childhood as a Boy Scout and the moral compass that would guide his life, to his service in Vietnam as a Green Beret and the value of Special Forces teamwork. To the Medal of Honor and the importance of family, faith, and finding your true north.
The bottom line is what Norma put right here in this wedding band. And they're going to find engraved in my heart when they do the autopsy. And the simple message which wraps all of this up is what we are is God's gift to us. What we become is our gift to God.
Oh, thank you very much, Roger. And Norma's right.
Alex Quade, Fort Leavenworth, Kansas.